signs of cliff breaking have left a chasm, and in the chasm are foam and yellow sands. Beyond, red roofs about a narrow wharf. In cluster then a mouldered church, and higher a long street climbs to one tall towered mill. A long street, and high in heaven beyond it a grey down with Danish barrows, and a hazelwood. By autumn nutters haunted, flourishes green in a cup-like hollow of the down. Here on this beach 100 years ago, 3 children of 3 houses. Annie Lee, the prettiest little damsel in port. And Philip, Ray, the miller's son. And Enoch Arden, a rough sailor's lad, made awful by a winter shipwreck. Shore. A narrow cave ran beneath the cliff, and in this the children played at keeping house. Enoch was host one day, Philip the next, while Annie still was mistress, but at times Enoch would hold possession for a week. "This is my house, and this my little wife." "Mine too," said Philip, "turn and turn about." When if they quarrelled, Enoch's stronger maid was master. Then would Philip, his blue eyes all flooded with helpless wrath of tears, shriek out, "I hate you, Enoch!" And at this, the little wife would weep for company, and pray them not to quarrel for her sake, and say she would be little wife to both. The dawn of rosy childhood passed, and the new warmth of life's ascending sun was felt by either. Either fixed his heart on that one girl. And Enoch spoke his love, but Philip loved in silence, and the girl seemed kinder unto Philip than to him. But she loved Enoch, though she knew it not, and would, if asked, deny it. Enoch set a purpose evermore before his eyes, to hoard all savings to the uttermost, to purchase his own boat, and make home for Annie. And so prospered that at last a luckier or bolder fisherman, a carefuller in peril, did not breathe for leagues among the breaker-beaten coast than Enoch. And ere he touched his 21st May, he purchased his own boat and made up home for Annie, neat and nest-like, halfway up the narrow street that clambered toward the mill. Then, on a golden eventide, the younger people making holiday, with bag and snack and basket, great and small, went nutting to the hazels. Philip stayed, father lying sick and leaving him an hour behind. But as he climbed the hill, just where the prone edge of the wood began to feather toward the holland, saw the pair. Enoch and Annie sitting hand in hand, his large grey eyes and weather-beaten face all kindled by a still and sacred fire that burned as on an altar. Philip looked, and in their eyes and faces read his doom. And as their faces drew together, groaned, rang the bells, and merrily rang the years, 7 happy years of health and competence, and mutual love and honourable toil, with children. First a daughter. In him woke with his first babe's first cry the noble wish to save all earnings to the uttermost, and give his child a better bringing up than his had been. All hers, a wish renewed when 2 years after came a boy to be the rosy idol of her solitudes, while Enoch was abroad on wrathful seas. Then came a thing, as all things human change. 10 miles to northward of the narrow port opened a larger haven, clambering on a mast in harbour by mischance. He slipped and fell. A limb was broken when they lifted him, and while he lay recovering there, his wife bore him another son, a sickly one. Another hand crept too across his trade. Taking her bread and theirs, and on him fell, although a grave and staid God-fearing man, yet lying thus inactive, doubt and gloom, he seemed, as in a nightmare of the night, to see his children leading evermore low, miserable lives of hand to mouth. And her he loved, a beggar, then he prayed, save them from this, whatever comes to me. And while he prayed, the master of that ship Enoch had served in, hearing his mischance, came, for he knew the man and valued him, reporting of his vessel China bound, yet wanting a boatswain. Would he go? There yet were many weeks before she sailed from this port. Would Enoch have the place? And Enoch had all at once assented to it, rejoicing at that answer to his prayer. Yet the wife, when he was gone, the children what to do, then Enoch lay long pondering on his plans. To sell the boat. And yet he loved her well. How many a rough sea had he weathered in her? He knew her as a horseman knows his horse. And yet to sell her. Then with what she brought by goods and stores, set Annie forth in trade with all that seamen needed of their wives. So might she keep the house while he was gone? Thus Enoch in his heart determined all. Then moving homeward came on Annie pale, nursing the sickly babe, her latest born. Forward she started with a happy cry, and laid the feeble infant in his arms, who Enoch took, and handled all his limbs, appraised his weight, and fondled father-like, but had no heart to break his purposes to Annie, till the morrow, when he spoke. Then first since Enoch's golden ring had girt her finger, Annie fought against her will. Many a sad kiss by day and night renewed. Besought him supplicating, if he cared for here or her dear children, not to go. He not for his own self caring, but her and her children let her plead in vain. So grieving held his wheel and bore it through. And Enoch faced this morning of farewell brightly and boldly. All his Annie's fears, save as his Annie's, were a laughter to him. Yet Enoch, as a brave, God-fearing man, bowed himself down, and in that mystery where God is man and is one, with man is God, prayed for a blessing on his wife and babes, whatever came to him. And then he said, Annie, this voyage, by the grace of God, will bring fair weather yet to all of us. Come, Annie, come, let me cheer you up before I go. At length she spoke. Enoch, you are wise, and yet for all your wisdom well know I that I shall look upon your face no more. Well then, said Enoch, I shall look on yours. Annie, the ship I sail passes here, he named the day. Get you a seaman's glass, spy out my face, and laugh at all your fears. Enoch rose, cast his strong arms about his drooping wife, and kissed his wonder-stricken little ones, but for the third sickly one, who slept after a night of feverish wakefulness. When Annie would have raised him, Enoch said, "Wake him not, let him sleep. How should this child remember this?" and kissed him in his cot. But Annie from her baby's forehead clipped a tiny curl and gave it. This he kept through all his future, but now hastily caught his bundle, waved his hand. Waving, the moment and the vessel passed. Even to the last dip of the vanishing sail, she watched him. And departed. Weeping for him. She mourned his absence in his grave, set her sad will no less to chime with his, but throve not in her trade, not being bred to barter, nor compensating the want by shrewdness, neither capable of lies, nor asking overmuch and taking less, and still foreboding. What would Enoch say? Now, the third child was sickly born, and grew yet sicklier. Though the mother cared for it, and with all a mother's care, howsoever it was, after a lingering, ere she was aware, like the caged bird escaping suddenly, the little innocent soul flitted away. In that same week, when Annie buried it, Philip's true heart, which hungered for her peace, since Enoch left, he had not looked upon her, smote him as having kept aloof so long. Surely, said Philip, I may see her now. Maybe be some little comfort. Therefore went, passed through the solitary front room, paused for a moment at an inner door, then struck it thrice. And no one opening entered, but Annie, seated with her grief, fresh from the burial of her little one, cared not to look on any human face, but turned her own toward the wall and wept. Then Philip, standing up, said falteringly, Annie, I came to ask a favour of you. I came to speak of you, of what you wished. Enoch, your husband. I do beseech you, by the love you bear, him and his children, not to say me nay. For if you will, when Enoch comes again, why then he shall repay me, if you will, Annie, for I am rich and well-to-do. Now let me put the boy and girl to school. This is the favour that I came to ask. Then Annie, with her brows against the wall, answered, I cannot look you in the face. I seem so foolish and so broken down. When you came in, my sorrow broke me down. And now I think your kindness breaks me down, but Enoch lives. That is borne in on me. He will repay you. Money can be repaid, but not kindness such as yours. Then Philip put the boy and girl to school. He bought them needful books, and every way, like one who does his duty by his own, made himself theirs. From distant corners of the street they ran to greet his hearty welcome heartily, and called him Father Philip. Philip gained as Enoch lost. For Enoch seemed to them uncertain as a vision or a dream, faint as a figure seen in early dawn, down at the far end of an avenue, going we know not where. And so 10 years since Enoch left his hearth and native land, fled forward, and no news of Enoch came. One evening, Annie's children longed to go with others, nutting to the wood, and Annie would go with them. Then they begged for Father Philip, as they called him too, him like the working bee in blossom dust, blanched with his mill, they found, and saying to him, "Come with us, Father Philip," he denied. But when the children plucked at him to go, he laughed, and yielding readily to their wish, for was not Annie with them? And they went. But after scaling half the weary down, just where the prone edge of the wood began to feather toward the hollow, all her force failed her, and sighing, "Let me rest," she said. "Listen, Annie, how merry they are down yonder in the wood. Tired, Annie?" She did not speak a word. Tired? But her face had fallen upon her hands. Then Philip coming somewhat closer spoke. "Annie, there is a thing upon my mind, and it has been upon my mind so long that, though I know not when it came there, I know that it will out at last. Oh, Annie, it is beyond all hope, against all chance, that he who left you 10 long years ago should still be living. Well, then let me speak. I grieve to see you poor and wanting help. I cannot help you as I wish to do unless they say that women are so quick. Perhaps you know what I would have you know. I wish you for my wife." Then answered Annie, tenderly she spoke. "You have been as God's good angel in our house. God bless you for it. God reward you for it. Philip, with something happier than myself, can one live twice? Can you ever be loved as Enoch was? What is it that you ask? I am content, he answered, to be loved a little after Enoch. Oh, she cried, scared as it were. Dear Philip, wait a while. If Enoch comes, but Enoch will not come, yet wait a year. A year is not so long. Surely I should be wiser in a year. Oh, wait a little. Philip said sadly, Annie, as I have waited all my life, I well may wait a little. She spoke in one moment, as it were. That autumn into autumn flashed again, and there he stood once more before her face, claiming her promise. Is it a year? She asked. Yes, if the nuts, he said, be ripe again, come out and see. But she put him off. So much to look to, such a change, a month, give her a month. She knew that she was bound, a month no more. Then Philip, with his eyes full of that lifelong hunger, and his voice shaking a little like a drunkard's hand, take your own time, Annie. Take your own time. At last, one night it chanced that Annie could not sleep, but earnestly prayed for a sign. My Enoch, is he gone? Encompassed round by the blind wall of night, brooked not the expectant terror of her heart, started from bed, struck herself a light, then desperately seized the holy book. Suddenly set it wide to find a sign, suddenly put her finger on the text, under a palm tree. That was nothing to her, no meaning there. She closed the book and slept. When lo, her Enoch sitting on a height under a palm tree. Over him the sun. He is gone, she thought. He is happy. He is singing Hosanna. In the highest yonder shining the sun of righteousness. These be palms whereof the happy people strowing cried, Hosanna in the highest! Here she woke, resolved, sent for him and said, wildly to him, there is no reason why we should not wed. Then for God's sake, he answered, both are safe, so will you wed me, let it be at once. So these were wed, and merrily rang the bells, and they were wed. But never merrily beat Annie's heart. A footstep seemed to fall beside her path. She knew not whence, a whisper on her ear, she knew not what. Nor loved she to be left alone at home, nor ventured out alone. What ailed her then, that ere she entered, often her hand dwelt lingeringly on the latch, fearing to enter? Philip thought he knew. Such doubts and fears were common to her state, being with child. When her child was born, then her new child was as herself renewed. Then the new mother came about her heart. Then her good Philip was her all in all. And that mysterious insect wholly died.